Want to change the color of your text within Final Cut Pro, or maybe add a little gradient? Let's show you how right over here. We'll select a title in our Titles and Generators menu. We'll pick this custom title and drag it above our background in the timeline. Now, double-click on the title so our playhead positions itself right on top of it. Then, navigate to the inspector on the top right. If the inspector is not visible, click on this icon. And make sure to click on the text inspector icon as well. Now let's type in some text. And just to make it easier to see, we'll increase it to a humongous size. Now that's gymongous. In the inspector, scroll down to the bottom. We'll jump into the face controls first. Make sure the box next to Face is checked so that it's active in the viewer. Then click on Show to expand the controls. We'll make sure this Fill With drop-down is set to Color. And below that, click on this color well. And the color wheel will pop up. We can drag this control to choose a different color. Or we can use the eyedropper to choose a color on the screen that matches our environment a little bit better. And then we'll tweak the color to increase the contrast. That looks great, so we'll click on this X to close out the window. And that's how easy it is to change the color. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next, click on this drop-down, and we'll show you how the gradient controls work for text. Click on this triangle to expand the gradient controls. For now, we'll go over the basics to applying a gradient, but check out the link in the description below for an in-depth video about gradient controls. The default gradient will be this light to dark blue, but let's change it. We can double-click on one of the tags to open up the color wheel again, where we'll choose a different color. The color on the bottom left of the gradient bar corresponds to the top of the text, while the color on the bottom right of the bar corresponds with the bottom of the text. We'll click on this red X to close the window again. Click and drag on this middle control to change where the center of the gradient is. Now let's go back to color. You'll be able to tweak these opacity and blur controls also. Opacity will change the transparency of the text and allow you to see through the text to the background as we get closer to 0%. We'll keep it at 100% if we want to be completely visible. The blur will make the text look more out of focus the greater the value is. It's not obvious, but many controls have a limit on the slider. But you can go past the limit by clicking on the number and dragging up your mouse. Before we check out the outline controls, we'll set the face to white to make things easier to see. And we'll click Hide so we can focus our attention on the outline controls. We'll check the box next to Outline and click on Show to expand the controls. If these controls look familiar, it's because most of them work the same way as the face controls, except there's a width control just for outline. Now let's change the color of the outline. Alright guys, you probably don't have the eyes of an American bald eagle, so you can't see these color changes that are happening on the outline right now. Let's adjust the width so you can actually see what we're doing. With width control, you can pretty much take the outline as wide as you'd like, but it may eventually turn into an enormous blob, so watch out. And now our color change is visible to the human eye. The outline can also be colored by gradient. And like the face of the text, we can adjust the opacity and blur of the outline. We encourage you to play around with these controls for face and outline to make the most of your next title. And that's how you add color and gradients to your titles in Final Cut Pro. Don't forget to check out Pixel Film Studios, where you can find Final Cut Pro plugins designed for beginners and professionals alike to take your projects to the next level. And that's the end. Have no fear, we've got 2 more right here.